Tell us your reaction to the verdict.
I don't have any real reaction of happiness or sadness. It seems consistent with the government's case. I'll look at it in an objective way. The government put together a very, I think, good case and strong case that Mark Ciavarella engaged in illegal activity. The verdict gave them a conviction on the highest charges. The serious racketeering charges are really a mountain of potential criminal liability for Ciavarella, and it came from a lot of hard work from the government, witnesses, including my clients and some of the other witnesses they called, and it's a victory. The fact that he wasn't convicted of everything, I wouldn't in any way look at the government as a loss, nor on the defense side would I consider it a victory. When you lose the most serious charge, it's not really a victory.
Now, is it safe to say, though, that they bought the story of Mark Ciavarella versus Robert Powell when it comes to extortion?
You know, I would have to say the jury didn't believe there was an extortion. And, you know, if you read the statute, extortion talks about threats or the feeling that you were threatened. And, you know, you never know what a jury thought. They may have thought a threat had to be more physical than economic, like Bob testified. And if that's what the jury bought, you know, they're the last say here.
Is his physical characteristics, the fact that he's a big guy, does that work against him?
Well, he is a big guy, I'll tell you that. Standing next to him, I felt that at 5'10", kind of short. But, you know, maybe it did. But one never knows what goes on in the jury room, what they actually think. The fact that some extortions, there were some acquittals on, or even some of the briberies, in the scheme of all of this, shouldn't be lost. There was a very big conviction that the government gained here in getting a RICO conviction, and if I was sitting in Mr. Ciavarella's shoes, I'd be very worried of what kind of sentence one would get out of this.
Have you talked to your clients?
Only real briefly. When I found out there was a verdict, they came by to take a peek. I did tell them there was a verdict. I didn't know all of the details as of yet. I know Bob, who has no malice in him, he won't feel good or bad about this. He just, you know, did his job when asked from the government. It's not that he was looking for somebody to go to jail or not. He just was asked to tell the truth, and he did that. So I think there'll be indifference from him when they tell him.
What's your feeling, though, when you heard it? Were you surprised? Did you think it would go a different way?
You know, I heard so many different stories from so many different people of what their predictions were and what he was going to get convicted of. I've been doing this a while. I gave up predicting or thinking. I just saw a pretty good case that the government put in, and I assumed there would be some convictions. I didn't know if there'd be on all counts, but you never know what a jury thinks. I'm not the jurors. They always have their own opinion.
With your legal background, can you just tell us the most serious charge, if you could explain to people what the most serious charge that he was found guilty of is?
Well, there were some racketeering charges. The first two counts were racketeering charges, and those have very serious penalties, much higher than the other charges. I mean, I can't tell you exactly what. Federal sentencing guidelines are really complex, so the exact nature of those are serious. If I was a betting guy, I would say 10 to 15 years of incarceration would be a fair estimate that, at a minimum, that would be.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.